Have you ever clicked on one of those videos? The ones that guarantee to show you all of the tips to gain tons of subscribers in only a short amount of time? I started making YouTube tutorials on makeup, hair, and beauty 6 months ago when I got fired from my job. I was tired of working, but I needed a way to make some money. Being 26 years old and still living with my mom is not my ideal way of living my best life. With me always telling her about the compliments that I get on my hair, makeup, clothes, nails, you name it, from strangers on the street, she recommends one day, "Diane, why don't you make videos and post them on YouTube?" So I figured, why not give it a try? But getting traction on YouTube is hard. I'm not sure why exactly, but getting people to subscribe is like pulling teeth. They say getting your first 1,000 subscribers is the hardest part of starting a new YouTube channel. My mom keeps telling me, "Diane, just keep creating great content and subscribers will come." Well, sorry, but I'm not a patient person, and only getting a few subscribers a day isn't cutting it for me. I mean, come on, look at this face. Who wouldn't want to subscribe? It's been about 6 months now, and I've tried all of the things YouTube advises when creating a new channel. Post frequently and consistently. Check. I post 3 times a week on 3 specific days. Create unique thumbnails. Check. Mine look better and more interesting than most channels. Reply to your comments and publish short videos, 5 minutes or less. Check and check. I've gotten different opinions on the short video thing. It turns out that some viewers actually like longer videos, but my channel has a nice variety. All of my videos range in time from a few minutes all the way up to 10 minutes, but I haven't gotten many views. People click on my videos, but then only end up watching a minute or 2. I'm literally doing everything right, so why isn't it working? Today, a few of my girlfriends came over to hang out, and they just so happened to be watching a video on YouTube of a girl who was reviewing the new line of Revlon lipstick. "Hey, did you watch mine? I just reviewed the same product," I told them. They glance at each other, and then Angie says to me, "Girl, I guess I'll have to be the one to say it. Diane, your videos suck. They're boring. You just don't have the oomph that you need to keep the viewer's attention." I didn't know what to say. I was pissed off. I spend a lot of time and effort making good content for my viewers, so how could she say that? I looked over at my other friend Erica, and she nodded her head in agreement. Maybe I was being petty, but I stormed over to the door and opened it, hoping that they would get the picture. They both placed their drinks on the coffee table and got up to leave without saying a word. Once they were gone, I sat down at my desk and began searching YouTube when I came across a video titled, "How to Get 100,000 Subscribers in the First Week, Guaranteed." The word guaranteed was in all capital letters. I'd already watched a million of the same videos, promising the same thing, but for some reason, this one really piqued my interest. Why not watch one more, I think to myself. It might not help my channel, but it surely couldn't hurt it either. Yesterday, I asked my mom for some money so that I could pay for an ad to promote my channel, but she told me no because I already owe her a bunch of money. I don't understand why she won't help me. Doesn't she see? I'm trying to become famous here. So I clicked on it and proceeded to watch the 7-minute video. It said the typical things that every other video I'd watched had said. However, in the description, there was a link included that took me to another website. It was a website to help people struggling with their channel. It offered free coupons to order your own set of 100 business cards or flyers, as well as a book full of tips to grow your channel. Everything was free, which is one of my favorite words, so I immediately filled out the form. They asked for all of my personal information, like my name, address, email, and phone number. So I provided them all, and when I checked my messages later that night, I got a confirmation email that they had received all of my info and I should get my startup kit in the mail within a few days. I eagerly awaited my kit to come, and when it finally arrived 3 days later, I immersed myself in the book. I finished it within days. In the meantime, my channel had gained a few new subscribers, but I wasn't gaining at the rate I was hoping, so I decided to try what the book suggested. In the book, it stated that if I decided to try any of their tips, All I had to do is record myself doing them and then send in the video. Then they would send me subscribers. The book's first suggestion was, do what your subscribers ask, but throw a little spice into it. Cause a little trouble. You'll be surprised how much that will excite your viewers. So the next day I headed to the beauty supply store and walked through the aisles searching for products to review for my channel. I came to the aisle where the more expensive products were located and peeked behind me to see if anyone was watching. Then I pulled out my cell phone and began to record. A number of my subscribers had left me comments asking me to try a specific product, the Gloss Modern Clean Luxury 3-piece hair care set. It included shampoo, conditioner, and a mask, but it was sold in stores for over $100 and there was no way I could afford it. As I strolled by and saw it sitting there on the shelf, my gut was telling me one thing while my mind told me another. The sales clerk was helping another customer and not paying any attention to me. I know I shouldn't have, but I did. I slid it into my knockoff Michael Kors pocketbook and then headed to the register. I did buy some lipstick and mascara. When I got home, I uploaded the video to my YouTube page and then forwarded it to the website URL that was provided in the book. While waiting, I set up my recording equipment in the bathroom and got ready to try out the new product. I was so excited. I knew this would get me more subscribers because I checked all over YouTube and no one had done a review on it yet. A friend of mine used it a few months ago and I've been dying to try it ever since. But like I said, it's just really expensive. So I washed and then conditioned my hair. The smell was amazing. It also left my hair shiny and revitalized. I straighten my hair quite often and it does tend to end up being frizzy, dry, and damaged after only a few days. And after applying the mask, my hair was soft and moisturized. This product was just as amazing as I thought it would be. I give it 5 stars. I spent the rest of my day editing my video and then I posted it later that night. When I checked back a few hours after I'd posted, I was shocked. My number of subscribers had grown exponentially. In just a few hours, I gained 500 subscribers. Some of you may think that's not much, but for me, it was. I was ecstatic. I kept telling myself that 500 extra subscribers was great, but I wanted more. So I referred back to the book for more of their suggestions. Obviously they worked because I had indeed gained a significant amount of subscribers, and I'd be okay with getting 500 a day until I reached 100,000. The next suggestion in the book was to meet the author. I think to myself, that's weird. I can't believe he has enough time to meet with his fans. When I call the 1-800 number to set up a meeting, I don't get an answer, so I leave a message. And a few hours later, I receive a call back from a lady named Mrs. Dolores. She tells me that Mr. Help Me Succeed, that's the author of the book, has a very busy schedule, but that he can squeeze me in the next night at 10 p.m. She tells me to make sure I wear all black for my meeting and to come alone. Well, that gave me the creeps. I was a little apprehensive about going to a meeting somewhere I'd never been with a complete stranger, but his advice had already helped my channel grow, so I knew it was a good idea. The following evening, an hour before my meeting was scheduled, I received a text message with the address. I typed it into my GPS, but it kept saying location not found, try again. So after trying numerous times and getting the same result, I texted the number back and informed whoever had sent it that the address was not popping up when I typed it into my GPS. A moment later, I got a reply with the directions. I followed them and they led me to a dark building that looked abandoned. When I approached the front doors, a big burly man walked out and granted me entry. He mumbled, "Follow me," in a deep authoritative tone. I obeyed and walked closely behind him as he guided me through the decrepit building. Finally, we reached a closed door and he knocked on it 3 times. When it echoed throughout the empty halls, I shuddered. Someone on the other side opened it and a musty smell smacked me in the face. I covered my nose, but it was too late. The smell was lingering on my clothes now. There was a man sitting behind a massive wood desk in a black leather chair, and he was wearing a black suit and tie. Once I entered, I saw a small group of people sitting at a bar in the corner. I say to the man behind the desk, "I thought this was supposed to be a one-on-one meeting." He smiles, and without answering my question, he replies,
Oh good, you're finally here. We've been waiting for you. Now we can begin. Here, have a seat.
He tells me while waving his hand at the bar. I walk over and debate whether or not I should have a drink. I feel like I may need one to deal with this bunch of weirdos, but then think twice and decide against it.
My name is Mr. Help Me Succeed, but you can call me Mr. H. I have asked all of you to come here tonight because you are all in need of my assistance. You want my help growing your business. I'm willing to help each and every one of you, but I need something from you in return. This program will help you realize just how far you're willing to go to succeed. If you agree to participate, I will give each of you a different task, and it's up to you to complete it in the allotted time frame. If you do, you get exactly what you want. If not, you get nothing.
I think to myself, this sounds too good to be true. What kind of tasks would we need to do? I blurt out. He announces.
My assistant, Mrs. Dolores, is now going to give each of you your first task.
The elderly woman I had talked to on the phone slowly makes her way around the room, handing each of the attendees a black folder with their names scrawled across the front. I take mine and open it. After reading over the paperwork, I stare in utter disbelief and then ask, "You're kidding, right?" My task is to vandalize a government building. Mr. H informs me.
No, Diane, this is no joke. Either you accept the task or you don't. It's as simple as that.
Raising my voice, I say, "Hell no, I don't accept it. This is crazy." I throw the folder down and it glides across the floor. When I see Mrs. Dolores struggling to bend over and pick it up, I march over, snatch it from the floor, and then hand it to her. Then I storm toward the door, ready to get the hell out of here. When I reach the door, the same man who escorted me in is standing guard. I walk around him, and he allows me to, but when I push against the doors, they are locked. I angrily glare at him, demanding to be let out of there, but he just stares back at me and shakes his head. Mr. H continues.
Who's going to accept their task?
There are 10 people in the room besides Mr. H, Mrs. Dolores, and the bodyguard. 7 of them step forward. Me and 2 others do not. Mr. H proclaims,
Good to hear.
Clapping his hands. Wait, are we allowed to swap tasks, I ask? Vandalism didn't seem so terrible. I mean, I'd already committed theft when I stole the beauty products, but I was curious to know what the other tasks were. Mr. H glances in my direction and asks the others if that's something they'd be willing to do. Luckily, they all agree, so we take turns reading our tasks aloud. All of them are petty crimes, and after hearing them all, I decide that mine isn't so bad. My task will only get me 10,000 subscribers, and some of the others are worth up to 50,000. As tempting as it sounds, I tell Mr. H that I would like to keep mine. The other 2 people who didn't step forward along with me swapped their tasks with 2 other people, and now everyone has agreed to participate in the program. Once everyone is happy with their tasks, Mr. H makes one last announcement.
One more thing. Once you agree to participate, there's no going back.
Everyone agrees, and finally we are allowed to leave. I rush to my car, get in, and lock the door. I look over my task instructions and see that I have 24 hours to complete it. Why not now? I think to myself. It's already dark, and all government buildings are closed. And on the way home, I do pass by a courthouse. Mr. H has provided me with a bag full of items needed to complete my task. It includes a can of spray paint, a mask, gloves, and a long black trench coat. I drive by the courthouse and park a mile away at a fast food restaurant. They have cameras, but I know that they are just there to ward off criminals. They don't work. A guy that I used to date works there, and he told me before that the owner is too cheap to pay for working cameras, so he just brought broken ones in and set them up. The rules clearly state that it's up to me not to get caught. If I do, I'm warned not to mention anything about Mr. H, or I will suffer the consequences. So I put on the trench coat over my black turtleneck, black jeans, and black boots. Then I slide my fingers into the gloves and pull the mask down so that it's concealing my face and stuff my hair tightly underneath it. I grab the can of spray paint from the bag and check to make sure that I have my phone. When I see that the coast is clear, I make my way back to the courthouse. I race through the empty parking lot and then dart across the lawn to the back of the building. My task didn't specify which part of the building I had to vandalize, so my plan was to take a subtle approach. I tugged the lid off of the spray paint and shook it. Then I retrieved my phone from the pocket of my trench coat and pressed record. I tiptoe over to the rusted metal back door and paint a pair of bright red kiss lips on it, which is my YouTube logo. The rules never specified what we had to draw either. My video was being live streamed on some website. I guess Mr. H ran it. As soon as I made it back to my car, completely out of breath, I signed into my YouTube account. My mind was blown. I had already gained 2,000 subscribers, and the number was steadily going up each second. By the time I drove home, I had gained my 10,000 subscribers as promised. I couldn't believe it. I thought this was all some kind of sick joke. I hadn't actually expected it to work. That night I received a call from Mrs. Dolores telling me that the next meeting would be held in 3 days at the same place, same time. In the meantime, I began to upload videos to my channel 5 days a week instead of the 3 that I had previously been doing. My subscribers were so happy, and as long as they were happy with my content, then I was happy. My videos that I'd recorded for Mr. H had the most views. On my other videos, the comments were not so great, but I figured they were still watching them. Haters gonna hate. They say that's the best publicity anyway. I couldn't wait to get my first check. The night of my second meeting with Mr. H, I headed back to the creepy old decrepit building. I was less afraid this time, and the same huge man who I assumed was a security guided me to his office again. There were 8 of us here this time, so 2 of the people who had been here last time didn't show up. I was curious to know what happened to them, but didn't bother to ask. Maybe they'd gotten caught completing their tasks, and now they were sitting in jail. Or even worse, maybe they'd gotten caught and mentioned Mr. H. He warned us not to. Thinking about what may have happened to them made chills run down my spine. After Mr. H gave his little speech, he congratulated us on completing our first task. Then Mrs. Dolores came around to each of us, handing out the same black folders as before. I opened mine and carefully read through it. The room got silent as the others received their folders and did the same. I gasped when I saw what my task was. It was even worse than before. I was expected to set a building on fire, but not just any building, a church. If I completed this task, it would get me 30,000 subscribers. That sounded amazing. I waited until the others had read through theirs to see if anyone would be willing to swap. But when everyone announced that they were happy with their tasks, I was devastated. Mr. H had already explained that once we agreed to comply and complete the first task, then there was no backing out. When everyone else left the room, I remained and told Mr. H that I needed to speak to him. I don't think I can do this. What about an abandoned house or something instead? He smiled and told me.
You've received your task. Now it's up to you to complete it.
Then he walks over to the door and holds it open for me. I leave, wondering what am I going to do? I want the subscribers. I mean, it is late and the church should be empty. When I got to my car, I searched through my bag that Mr. H handed me on my way out the door. There was a can of gasoline inside. No wonder it felt heavier than last time. There was also a pack of matches along with a mask, gloves, and a trench coat. My heart was racing. I still wasn't sure what I was going to do. While driving home, I passed a few different churches, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it. This time I only had 8 hours to complete my task. I did not want to find out what happened if I didn't complete it. I know I wouldn't get the subscribers, but I had a feeling that there was more to it than that. Finally, I drove by a church that was completely pitch black inside. I wasn't sure if it was just closed or abandoned. I parked down the road in an empty parking lot that was covered with overgrown weeds. Then I scanned the area to see if anyone was walking by or lurking about. When I didn't see anyone after 15 minutes, I put on the coat, gloves, and mask. Then I stepped out of the car and grabbed the gas and matches. I slowly made my way over to the church and walked all around it, peeking through the windows to see if I saw someone inside. It appeared to be empty, and there were no cars in the parking lot either. So I pulled out my phone and pushed record. When I saw that my video was live, I again walked around the church, but this time pouring the gas until I came full circle. Then I lit a match and dropped it. When the church ignited in flames and I saw the comments from the viewers who were watching live, I ended the video and darted back to my car. I sped home and turned on the news to see if someone had called the cops. I decided not to post that video to my YouTube account. The other crimes had been so petty that I don't think anyone cared that much to find the perpetrator, but this one would definitely have the cops knocking at my door. When I didn't see anything on the news, I headed over to my computer and logged into YouTube. A smile crossed my lips. I had gained my 30,000 subscribers. When I was getting into bed that night, I received a text from Mrs. Dolores. This one said that the third meeting would be the last, and I would be completing my final task. My final task would gain me 60,000 additional subscribers. Whatever it was, I just couldn't wait to do it and be done with Mr. H. I was so excited when I received my first YouTube check. It was for $1,000. Now I can officially say that I have a job and my mom can get off my back about it. And after the next task, my next check should be double, maybe even triple that, and before you know it, I'll be as famous as Tati Westbrook. The next night, when I arrived for our final meeting, there were only 3 of us this time. Where are the others, I ask. Mr. H informs me.
They failed to complete their tasks.
Then for the last time, Mrs. Dolores walks around and hands the 3 of us the same black folders with our final tasks. I rush to open mine. Like I said, I was just ready to get these last 60,000 subscribers and be done with this. After skimming through the details of my last task, I close the folder and remain silent. I have to do it. God only knows what will happen to me if I don't. I stay behind again to talk to Mr. H. Mrs. Dolores is still in the room with the 2 of us. He hands me my bag and I glance inside. I didn't even really have a chance to think about it. I just put on my mask and pull out only one of the items from the bag, and then I remove my phone from my hoodie and press record. Mrs. Dolores and Mr. H are talking with their backs turned to me. I approach the 2 of them and he asks,
Can I help you?
I just smile and then jab the blade into Mrs. Dolores' skull. When I let go, it's still lodged in her head. It takes a moment for her body to fall, but when it does, it makes a loud thud that echoes throughout the room. I stop the video as Mr. H steps forward, clapping. It was followed by hysterical laughter.
I have one question. Why right now, and why her?
I respond, I wouldn't have been able to do it anywhere else. I'd be too afraid of getting caught. So I thought if I did it here, you guys could take care of the cleanup and get rid of the body without me getting caught. Still laughing, he asks.
So now you're turning us into your own personal maids?
Then he says,
Oh my, that was unexpected. You didn't even hesitate. You didn't even go home and mold it over. You passed this program with flying colors.
Continuing to laugh, he tells me,
It's a shame that it had to be her. She was a very good assistant. But I have an idea. Forget the 100,000 subscribers. You already have more than that on our site.
He grips my arm and walks me over to his computer. I see all of the videos I recorded for him, as well as all of my YouTube videos posted on his site. I have over 500,000 subscribers on there. He promises,
Diane, this could be a great relationship. You could take Mrs. Dolores' place here. There's something about you being so young, beautiful, and innocent looking, doing such naughty and bad things that drives our audience wild. They love it. They love you.
That was 3 months ago. Now I have more subscribers than ever. I'll be as famous as Tati in no time. I'm at 2 million subscribers and counting. I should invite my girlfriends to one of my shows so they can see me now. I bet they wouldn't call me boring anymore. Then I step forward into the limelight, gripping the machete tightly in my hand as I greet the audience. Hello, ladies and gents. Are you ready for the fun to begin? Subscribe for a new story Mondays, Wednesdays, and don't forget Saturdays. See you next time on
Gina's Nightmares.
Really? You're supposed to click the like button, not me. Ugh.